We are here. The NFL draft is real. It happened. We have landing spots. Rookie mock coming up. Let's get into it.
Lots of chaos.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it. And just like that, we've already got link to join the mock. What is up, Shimmy? We are going to be posting it soon. We're probably going to do a quick little let some people get in here, but don't worry, we will post. And we'll do a couple mocks as well. So I'm sure we'll make sure that everybody's getting a chance to get in here and kind of run through these. But man, just real quick, wanna ask you, what are your overall opinions? We're gonna be yapping about the rookies all night tonight. I think it was a pretty fun NFL draft for fantasy purposes. I think even some of these like early fourth round running backs, not as much decimation of some veteran guys as well. So I thought it was a pretty fun draft overall.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously the big story was the Shadur slide. It sounds like a wedding dance move, but actually it was going from first round to fifth round. That was crazy. Obviously, that's something that we got to really think about in superflex drafts. Makes a lot of those mid first round picks a lot less desirable in a sense. But then also we lock in Hampton. If you've been here, you know I've been hyping up Hampton because I watched him run all over my NC State Wolfpack. So I know this guy can ball in behind Joe Alt, first round draft capital. It's hard to mess that up. So at least we got two first round running backs. Again, like a lot of those fourth round running backs, not many backup or even like mid tier RBs got like nuked.
Yeah,
right? I think the only
big
one that I
ones
can think
too
of is like a Stevenson, right?
Right. And like the Chase Brown and I think Tyrone Tracy were the two big ones that people were kind of holding their breath for. Now Tracy does get the Scattaboo, which early fourth. And yeah, it'll be interesting too. And from a pass catching standpoint too. Yo, what up, Sean? Anyone watching Puck tonight? Nah, you're watching the Dynasty Daddy live stream. You're getting in the rookie mocks.
We have as many views as the NHL playoffs. I believe our ratings are similar.
When we get into running backs, I'd like to talk about RJ Harvey. Oh, you and me both. I think he's the interesting. I think the big question is the Harvey versus Caleb Johnson. So I think like the draft capital, what is it, like 20 pick difference between end of the that second
really
and the third?
Matter.
Not a big deal. Landing spot. I think you get excited. I think scheme fit wise for what like Caleb Johnson should do with Pittsburgh and kind of that Arthur Smith kind of more zone running scheme that I think fits him really well. But hard to not get excited about Harvey getting that Denver Broncos landing spot.
Yeah, no, I mean RJ Harvey. He was one that was like around Tootin, for me. Like I was like pre-draft, like everyone's kind of ranking him around there, but I mean he's instantly shot up to like at least a late first at this point.
Yeah.
In this super flex because I mean there's not much you can really do. And Jackson Dart, that was also kind of surprising. I know there was some first round rumors, the trade up and then be like, no, we're going to go with Dart over Sanders. I think that's definitely a surprising outcome. But I mean, yeah, given apparently how the interviews went, and all the circus around Sanders, maybe you just go with Dart and live to see another day.
And talk about interesting, the quarterback stuff. Obviously, the Sanders stuff is like the talk of the town. That is kind of interesting as far as expectations across the mock draft fantasy community and everything with where he went. But how about Tyler Shuck? Or was anyone seeing the Saints? He has to be discussed from a fantasy standpoint like that. He is making a start for the New Orleans Saints this season. Personally,
for me, I'm on the boat where I just don't even want to entertain it, man. I just don't even want to entertain it.
I don't have confidence in my QB evaluation, but it is hard to get excited. I will give you that.
I feel like Spencer Rattler is still more desirable than Shuck at this point. I mean, I've just
no way. Come on, chat. I mean, I don't want to talk about either of them, but yes. And I will say, I think when we're getting into this too, when we're talking about our opinions of prospects and everything, like you do have to look at it from the standpoint of, that kind of that ADV, like the conversation point of how are your league mates thinking of certain players. And so, I mean, Shuck's a great example of that, where he is going to fall down some boards because that's a gross pick, especially with some of these running back landing spots too. And some of these wide receivers, he's going to feel like a gross pick, but I think he is going to be a nasty value that you just have to take because of starting quarterbacks in super flex leagues.
I'm not gonna take him until like I literally have to. When I'm literally
Dang,
like,
we'll
okay,
see.
do I take freaking like ETN or fine? I'll take the guy that probably will get 3 starts this year, and then get benched for Derek Carr coming back from the dead week 14. But yeah, I
Here,
mean that one's a tough one. It's
I
like Dylan Gabriel too, similar, just like
oh
gross.
yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't see Dylan Gabriel as a quarterback in the NFL. I don't know if anybody sees a lot of those Browns QBs as that. Shout out Joe Flacco though. But let's I'm down. We can pull up this. We got a trade question up here. I'm down
Yeah,
to
we
kind
can
of grip
head
it
off.
and get into these mock drafts in a minute. If you're down, if we could get, I don't know how many likes
Yes.
are on the stream. If we can get to, wait, how many likes are on the stream? Can you see?
I don't have it pulled up. Oh, 6. We got 6.
Let's get, come on, what do we got?
Let's
24
let's
viewers
break
in
YouTube.
here.
Let's break YouTube.
Let's get 15 likes and we'll get the first mock draft. Am I holding the chat at ransom? Is that what we're doing? Is that the marketing standpoint?
I saw it go up 1. I saw it go up.
Okay,
by
there we
1,
go.
so.
Once we get to 15, we're starting it. Jeremy's keeping track, and we'll pull up these questions. We'll get a shot to see the field. Yeah, definitely where you have to draft him for sure. I mean, it's hard to take him over some of these like immediate impact running backs, and obviously these second round wide receivers, obviously, but he just has to be a part of the next tier, I think, as far as yeah, it's hard. I mean, even when you get to like Tootin and Scatabo, like yeah, it's a 4th round running back versus a quarterback in Superflex League that's going to get starts, but like those guys are way more exciting and more
No,
like
exactly.
fun value wise too.
I mean, we already knew this was going to be a weak QB class, and I'm not going to be like, oh, let me get the gross ones. I'd much rather take a Milrow or even a Sanders in a 3rd, because I know if Sanders plays 2 good games, I can sell him for a 2nd. Like, I know someone will bite on the hype. No one's gonna no one's gonna bite on the hype of like a Dylan Gabriel or someone like that. Like you gotta have the player that people want in that range, someone that they can tell themselves a story.
For sure. All right. Well, this is we'll get right into this while we're waiting for these likes to come through. I know you're keeping track. We got a 10-team start 10. It's first orphan. Nice. Let's go. Josh Allen, Purdy, Gino. Okay. Hall, Pollard, Swift, Najee, Olave, Flowers, Addison, Rashid, Hopkins, Pitts, and Pat Freiermuth. Don't think this team can win. I don't know if you have the wide receiver firepower.
Okay. It is. I will say.
In a 10 by 10.
Is it a one QB league, or is it 2?
Oh, it's got to be 2 or super flex.
How many orphans have? How many teams like orphan that have Josh Allen on them? I'm just like,
I will
Josh
say,
Allen super flex is like a cheat code.
Dude, we took over. My buddy and I were co-managing an orphan. We just took over, and nicest orphan I've ever taken. It's got neighbors. We've got Drake May, and JJ McCarthy, Bucky Irving, and like George Pickens, some like kind of like interesting value. 105, 108, 111 in this year's draft. I was like, who abandoned this team? Like got all these firsts for this year and was like, I just cannot.
Yeah, making all the picks
anymore.
is fun.
It also has Russell Wilson, so maybe they just were looking at that too closely. I do have the 105. What the heck should I do? Yeah, in a 10 by 10, it's kind of tough. So let us know if it's super flex. But yeah, in this, I don't think this is a bad team. But in a shallower league, I mean, only 10 teams. The roster definitely doesn't feel super strong competing. But I think you can put together a competing team with this structure for sure.
In a 10 by 10. So, like, I assume the draft will probably go Ginty, Hampton, Hunter, and Tet in some sort of order. Especially in a 10-team start 10, QBs are less valuable. Are you taking the Cam Ward at the 5? Or are you saying, I better to just go with a Henderson or a Harvey or just the next running back up or something like that?
Yeah, I hate having to, like, kind of put all this pressure on you, Lucas, but I think that 105... And with this roster, what you're looking at, I think you do kind of want to call your shot for what you want to do for this team. So it is super flex for sure. But as far as it's hard to kind of eat the value of the 105, taking somebody like that versus, I don't know, I don't want a position to sell the farm because I think Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, quarterback room, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard, Swift, Najee, running back room. Like the receivers don't feel like they have the firepower, but I think you pretty quickly could put together a team that, we'll see what happens in the first couple weeks of the season.
My one point here would be if you know a team 104 or earlier is taking Cam Ward, don't move that pick. Because I was in a draft. Here's a 12 team start 12. I have a draft going on right now. I had the 105, and I was like, crap, what if Cam Ward slides to me? I already have Burrow, Kyler, Penix. I was like, I don't need this. I'd much rather have any other position. And it went Ginty, Ward, Tet, Hunter, and I just get Hampton at the 5. And I'm like, well, I also built around, like, I had such a big hole at running back.
Dang.
And I was like, my wide receivers were like, loaded. Brian Thomas, all these good wide receivers. I was like, perfect. This, so I do think if someone's going to take Cam Ward, you're going to be able to soak up a meaningful running back or wide receiver and feel good about that. If you do think it's going to slide to you, I would probably be looking to say, hey, can I split this 105, pick up 2 late first, or pick up, 2 early-ish seconds and like a late first or some sort of package? Because this draft, we don't have the high-end talent, but we're going to be able to take a bunch of those dart throws on the Caleb Johnsons, RJ Harveys, and
great
really
spots for some of these. I mean, Quinshot
yeah.
Judkins to the Browns and
exactly.
Travion to the Pats.
So you're going to be able to get a lot of value out of that. I would just say, hey, like, do I know my league? Is someone going to kind of bite the bullet on Ward? And if so, you're probably going to end up with a top-ish, top dynasty asset out of that.
I do like the 105, especially in leagues where I feel great about taking a quarterback. Like if somehow Cam Ward falls, where in leagues where quarterback should matter, and they typically should in most super flex leagues. But yeah, I do like that 105. All right, we're pleading for likes here. You got anything on the Carolina Hurricanes? I'm gonna toss it over to you. I'm a fake hockey fan. I'll watch the Red Wings when they're in playoffs.
I don't know hockey.
Carolina, come on, you don't got nothing for me.
I just know they made like a Luka Doncic trade, like on the bad side.
Oh,
and everyone, I just read that
they got to win
clowning them. So I was clowning on Connor in a group chat, and he was like, "I'm going to blow up your next live stream chat."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
gonna blow it up with hockey questions. So we got that going for it.
Yeah, I will. I really want to get into these rookie drafts. I'm so excited to talk about the NFL draft more.
I think we hit the threshold. We hit the threshold.
Let's do it. What I was about to say is I'm not gonna devote any time talking about the Pistons being absolutely gypped at the end of Game 4. So don't worry about it, guys. I'm over it. We're on to bigger and better things. The NFL draft happened. We're good.
I will say Connor's out here saying Tet McMillan. Apparently he doesn't watch football. That was from his freshman year in college. So let's pump on the fake news. Let's give him a chance to play before we start jumping on him.
And I mean, draft fashion, obviously staple of the weekend, the Diamond Crocs. I was sad that Genty didn't keep the Diamond Crocs on for going on the stage. I saw the shoe change. I was excited. I was sitting there with my girl. I was watching the draft. She wasn't. And I was like, oh, this guy's got Diamond Crocs on. Check this out. She was real disappointed that they were not on the stage.
I know. It changed quickly.
There we go. Don't worry. We got the fashion talk in here. Okay. I'm going to pull, I think, an interesting question up here before we get into this draft. And I will post. We'll see what we get from the live stream. And then I think we'll go to the Discord if we don't. But we got some people in here. Are we ready to mock? Let's go. All
right, currently got 26?
All right, I see you in here, so I got this link here. But yeah, talk to me about your thought process at the 103 or 104 in the rookie draft. Are you talking Travis Hunter? Do you expect him to be off the board? And if so, what's the game plan? Yeah, I think the league format is pretty interesting as far as these receivers versus running backs. So how you feel about Hampton? I mean, I love the spot for Hampton. I mean, it's very possible that, Najee's involved this season, but it is 1 year, $6 million deal. You don't really take, I mean, look at the hit rate for first round running backs. Greg Roman, Harbaugh. There's been some weird stuff, I will say, with Greg Roman and rookie running backs, going back to like J.K. Dobbins and how involved some of the other running backs were in Baltimore. But hard to not get excited about Hampton versus Hunter, even though I'm a big Hunter guy.
You're stealing my thunder here, but I guess I will say, I think in most formats, I'm still taking Hampton at the 102. I did talk about earlier where I saw him go all the way down to the 105. Right, so I do think it's a little bit closer than what people really realize. But to me, like I probably would take Hunter at the 103 and 104. To be honest, it's kind of like, do you want Hunter or do you want Tet? And I kind of slightly lean Hunter, especially if there's any sort of defensive bonuses. But I just
Oh,
think
yeah.
if you trade up, if you give up that much to go up and get a non-quarterback, you're not going to just be like, cool, like now we got a cornerback. You're going to have him running, and even if he's on offense, he has Brian Thomas Jr. next to him. He's going to have a lot of opportunity to be open, and even if he doesn't play 100% of offensive snaps, he's still going to have enough snaps, and when he's on there, he's going to be obvious passing downs, things like that. So I'm not too concerned about Travis Hunter fantasy-wise. And since we also don't have a locked-in superstar, I mean, Tet still has some question marks around him. I'm totally fine. 103, 104, I'm honestly taking them in most formats, unless if I'm like desperate for a quarterback, and then maybe I'll take a Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's man, I'm really trying not to get too jazzed about this Hunter stuff, but I just will say I love the 104, 105. Man, just like getting that top 10 draft capital to Carolina.
Yeah, that's tough.
That is great. I mean, obviously we knew Cam Ward 101, and we've got it right here. So yeah, I put the link in the YouTube chat. Feel free to join. We'll throw it in the Discord in a second. So if you're in here right now and you want to get in the inaugural Dynasty Daddy rookie draft, the first one, this will establish ADP for the Dynasty Daddy community for the entire year. No, but yeah, I think the obviously the tight ends. I mean Colston Loveland. I mean, how do we feel about the Bears? I think we should talk about that a little bit. I mean, Loveland and Luther Burden,
yeah.
some weird Ben Johnson stuff. Do you think? Okay, here's what I'll say. I'll ask you the weird question, and then we'll get into the actual question. Do you think there's a Bear trade skill position player happening, whether it is a signing, acquiring a Chubb, some kind of weird trade, moving DJ Moore, Cole Kmet? I've seen all that stuff kind of after the Luther Burden pick, after taking Colston Loveland at the 10 spot. Any thoughts behind that, or are you just kind of like, nah, Ben Johnson just loves these little offensive toys?
No, that's 100% noise, because like to me, like the way I look at it is like DJ Moore's on a pretty team friendly contract, even the extension he signed for the production that he has. They're trying to make Caleb Williams work. Like you want to make sure. Like I still believe in Caleb Williams, but there's still a lot that needs to work in that offense. And I think even if they got like Chubb or something, it doesn't really, like, Chubb isn't going to be like, oh no, like DeAndre Swift isn't good. Yeah, like I would still take Swift over a lot of those guys. So to me, I'm
that's a big
pretty
winner.
confident. Yeah. Now I will say one thing that was disappointing about this draft. We kind of had like a few of these late first wide receiver prospects that we're kind of excited about, like a Burton, and like Ibuka, especially those two prospects. I was like, if they land in a good spot, I could see them, kind of being that mid first range. And we lost both of them to like JSN, Adinze,
I love
Pearsall type of roles. And it's like, man, like it's going to be hard to take those when it's like they're kind of a 2-year investment to see if they're actually good.
Here's what I'll say. What I do love about the Ibuka situation is I think I'm in my non-tight end premium or very low tight end premium leagues. I think I'm going to get a nice discount on Ibuka specifically, but some of these running backs as well with these tight ends. Like I just, you hear about like the threshold that you have to hit as a rookie tight end to like really, really impact for fantasy without a tight end premium. And so I think some of these, like I like Loveland, love Warren, but I don't know. I think Warren, it's going to be tough in those like low tight end premium leagues for them to have similar upside to, a first round receiver, even if it's a tough situation for, rookie season. Do you,
and you get a lot of value out of those guys. Like
Yeah.
if they get good spots, like Brian Thomas Jr. last year. And like, I do think Brian Thomas Jr. is way better than like a Burden or anything, but it would have been nice to have some of them land in spots where we could talk ourselves into like an Xavier Worthy type situation.
All right, I am just throwing all caps mock draft now into the Discord.
Yeah, we got 4 spots.
Mocking live on the YouTube live stream. 4 spots. There we go. All right, what are we thinking? Rant. Oh, where'd you go?
Wait, what?
Don't worry. We're getting a little quirky and funky with me doing the Discord post, so I might give you those responsibilities.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I'm a delegator. All right, unique situation here. I have the 101 and the 103 drafted BTJ last year. Who is your dream double tap with Genty at the 101? Here's what I'll say before I even contribute to an answer. I am very much of the belief I do not care who is on my roster. Like, I just want to draft best player that I think, like, value wise or, production, whatever I'm kind of going for at that point. So I would not worry about having Hunter and BTJ from a, like, oh, I want to make my bet on which one is better. Like, we've seen, especially in these offenses where, there isn't a ton of weapons, in pass catching, obviously getting rid of Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, that, good, productive receivers, there will be consolidation. And we've already heard Liam Cohen talk about that too, as far as like getting BTJ involved. So I'm not worried about that. But with that being said, I know you talked about having Hampton over. Obviously, you're taking Genty, so you're probably feeling a little bit better about your running back room. But you would still go. Would you go Hampton even if you don't really need it over Hunter?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hampton is in line for just like dominating production, and then on top of that, we see the shift of like how many rookie wide receivers in a weaker class versus a loaded running back class. I feel like first round draft capital RBs are one of the most guaranteed things you can take. So if I can get that at the 103, then I'm like, cool. I don't have to worry about picking young running backs at the top of any drafts for the next 4 years. Because even if one doesn't hit, it's like I have both the high end options here. And there might be some guys later on, but I mean, if you could walk out of this with Genty and Hampton, then it's like, cool. Now I just need to grab a couple, Myers and cheap guys that I can just plug in here and there and have a solid team. So, I mean, that's definitely the one I would like. I mean, if Hampton goes at 2, then I would just say, hey, like, who do you like more, Hunter or Tet? Probably take one of them. I'm just not, I don't hate Cam Ward, but I think the market is much lower on him. It's going to be harder to move him. And I think the second you get him, you get like a guy that people are like, oh, like if he's good, he'll be Geno Smith or something like that.
Yeah.
What can you get for Geno now? Like,
yeah, I do think I do like Cam Ward, and I do think he can run. Well, I think we might see a little bit of that, but I do agree. I mean, you can't say, I will say, I understand look at all these rookie quarterbacks that didn't even have great seasons, but held value because of the understanding of how long of a leash they were going to have. So if Cam Ward is average to good, like he is, boom, holding that value really strong. But man, hard to argue that a decent season from Hunter or Tet isn't also going to hold that value as a top 10, wide receiver
I mean,
pick.
the best case scenario for Cam Ward is literally he becomes Bo Nix, right? That is literally the best possible thing that can happen. And I just don't know if, I don't really know if that's going to happen. So I don't really want to bet on that if I have to.
And
Hunter Renfrow signing.
Yeah, do you want to address as the resident Carolina Panthers fan?
I mean, we'll take all the help we can get. So, like, cool, add him in there. Maybe Coker is on the hot seat a bit.
Dang.
But I'm not too concerned. Obviously, Tet isn't in trouble. But yeah, I mean, cool. Like, I'm glad. I think it's better than signing some other options, but I don't think it changes much in terms of that offense. I still want them to invest more in Coker and in Leggett and Tet.
And the defense.
Make sure they hit. Yeah, that defense is so bad.
Man, two spots. Where do we?
2 spots. No one wants to enter the draft.
Who's in the chat and wants to get this draft going? Don't you want to see where the Dynasty Daddy community? Guys, we haven't even talked really about Travion Henderson at all, but let's see here. What's up, Jacob? I have the 102, 103, and 106. Love Hampton and would like Henderson and Hunter with 3 and 6. What are your thoughts? Do either of them make it to 6? PPR. Ooh, we got it. All right, are we randomizing or are we keeping the same? Okay, I'll give you 1 second. Your instant reaction.
We're keeping it.
Letting the people choose their spot. All right, let's get it going.
Yeah.
So we got 60 seconds per pick. I'll say before I even start this draft, I know I kind of pump faked here. This is a we're just gonna. I put the format, but obviously we're just gonna mostly draft off of how you feel about the players. Superflex, 12 by 10, 1.0, 10 in premium. So somewhat of a 10 in premium. But let's get this thing going.
And I will say, Tato Man looks like he missed out on the fun, but we will be running another one as well. So you can catch us on the loop around.
And it'll be, I have the landing spots down
first.
here. Yeah. We'll post other ones. We'll get you in there, Tato Man. Oh, we got it at the 112. Let's go. Yeah, we've got the first, second, and third round. Once all the first round players are off the board, I'll add in the fourth round because I think that is still a very interesting round. Yeah, we're talking about Tootin, Scadaboo. Yeah, but yeah, Genty Hampton to start.
Lindsay's a truther with me here. Hampton is still the locked in 102 in most formats, I think.
Let's go.
I'm curious with like the
we'll get you in your Cole world.
The IDP impacts for Hunter.
Yeah, I'm not a big IDP guy. I know corners don't score a ton compared to other positions, but obviously it's depending on what the scoring actually is. But I'm here at the 104. Oh, I mean, it's between, for me, it's got to be between the quarterback. I mean, I'm going to give respect to the quarterback in Superflex, but I just cannot be a Travis Hunter truther and not take him here at the 104. I would not
I would take him there as well.
Argue with anyone taking the quarterback. Well. Obviously, first overall. I think Cam Ward deserves to be inside of any top 5 in Superflex leagues. But yeah, give me Hunter. I'm all in.
What is the tight end premium again on this one?
I put it down. Okay, I feel like every time tight end premium gets referenced in something, it is ultra mega confusing. I'm giving 1 full point additional for tight ends.
Okay. Because that's when it starts to actually matter.
Yes. So I wanted to give a mattering one because I think it's a little bit more interesting. And then we can do the... it just felt kind of lame putting 0.5 TEP in the name. Wow.
Sean.
All right. Have we jumped?
With the Henderson.
I don't hate the Henderson call out, but have we jumped the shark, taking him over the 101 quarterback in a Superflex league?
People don't like Ward, man. Ward's going to be hard to move.
Man, I just think about where Tua and Jared Goff and those level of, I mean, yeah, Goff has had strung together a couple strong seasons. Maybe that's not the best example, but I think you know what I'm talking about. A range of quarterback that is starting in the NFL, Superflex leagues. It's hard to, I guess it depends on the league, man. I mean, there's some leagues where quarterbacks, I can't get anything for my third. And there's some leagues where, I'm getting premium players. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I need a quarterback, I can't trust Cam Ward to be anything meaningful. To me, I'm more inclined to just bet on a Stafford or something.
Okay, I can add in the Superflex spot, but it just adds it to the bench if you take an additional position. I just want to make sure all the positions were included. But top left,
I will say I'm on the clock right now. Burden going this high is somewhat surprising, but I do like Burden, and obviously that spot will be interesting later. I'm for this league, top 2 tight ends off the board. Really looking at wide receiver, but there's Igbuka. Do I want to deal with the Igbuka or Matthew Golden situation? Honestly, for me, I feel like this is where I'm trying to take running backs. Right, some of the running backs that got some good day 2 capital. And frankly, to me, I feel like RJ Harvey's my guy here.
Making the shot.
Just because Judkins has the Samson situation, plus who knows what's going on there. I think RJ Harvey is in the same tier as Judkins, but I'll go with him as well.
Yeah, it's hard.
With some Ohio State guys.
I want to call out great pick to Igbuka at the 112 there. But I mean, I'm also excited. Hard to not be excited about Harvey in that spot. I know people talk about the age with Harvey, but you really have to add context to his whole situation with, coming in as a quarterback, transferring, tearing the ACL. He was a backup when he transferred too, and then just dominant season. So if you really filtered to just that production where he was starting running back for UCF, his, prospect profile looks a lot better. But yeah, we got the RJ question marks.
He has a clean backfield too. He has such a clean backfield as well. For me, I'm if I can get a guy at the 110 that I can lock into a flex and potentially higher that had decent second round draft capital, give it to me any day.
Yeah, I think people talk about Peyton.
Beater here.
Ooh,
got auto picked.
I almost want to change. Should I just change the player?
Yeah, I would go auto pick with not. Yeah, there we go.
All right, I'm going auto with just what the next player was. He's automatically back. I think that probably would have been It probably could have been the pick, or Golden. How do you feel about Golden? I feel like Golden is really, really falling. There's what's he wearing, number 22 or something like that. That's gonna hurt him. But okay, there he goes. Yeah, the Green Bay, no wide receiver one type of feeling that LaFleur always gives.
I think the hard part is that offense spreads the ball around. So unless if they reinvent that offense in some sort of way, it's still going to be hard to trust that.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think Golden is being a little bit depressed in that he is a first-round pick in a team that has no other first-round picks and doesn't really have a clear alpha. I mean, sometimes it's Jaden Reed, sometimes it's Dobbs, sometimes it's Watson.
Yeah.
So to me, I could see him coming in there and actually being impactful.
Yeah.
Is that going to be impactful enough from a fantasy perspective? I don't know. But he's someone that is kind of like the Bird and Ibuka Gold. Like people like Bird and Ibuka more than Golden. But Golden's probably going to see more action earlier on. So it's kind of like a weird, like, do you just want to go after production and hope he hits? But he kind of has that like QJ stink to him where it's like no one really wants to bite.
Yeah, I've got 15 seconds here. I do like the dart pick. That probably would have been my pick. I mean, I think this early second range, you just have to consider a quarterback that's going to get a little spot there. I'm going to go Jaden Higgins here. I think this is kind of, you're hitting the end of the range that I'm excited to take these receivers. Like there's some prospects that I like that got interesting landing spots, but if you just talk about, you just look back at historical hit rates for receivers, kind of that early second is really where you want to be at the very latest as far as meaningful production in like a 12x10. Now obviously we've got big hits from, thirds and fourths and late seconds and everything, but excited about the spot. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, that's definitely the last range of wide receivers I'm really interested in, just from a hit rate perspective.
Yeah. Hard to not get excited about Harris, though.
Second is rough. Like, I think Harris and Higgins, those guys round out a perfect mid-second. And then past that, I'm looking more for wide receiver, or not wide receiver, but more looking at running back. And then this tight end premium, probably looking to kind of take a look at some of the tight ends as well.
Yeah, so let's get the fourth round up. We've got all the first round players off the board. We do get Kyle Williams off the board before Beck, but obviously pretty small difference in. Oh, I'm gonna say it. Not a fan. Not a fan. So I got to pull up the sixth round to get Ollie Gordon up. I mean, I think a good spot. You just talk about. I mean, it's different than any of the other backs they have. You talk about like Jalen Wright and A-Chain versus what Ollie Gordon could do. I don't want to say should do, but yeah. So I'm gonna hide that sixth round there.
All I'm saying is Mason Taylor. I was hoping he would fall to me. I do think he's kind of underrated, but still got really high second round draft capital. That usually bodes well for tight ends. But here, Ollie Gordon going before my guy Tootin.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on.
They just wanted to give you Tootin for the live stream.
The fans wanted to give that to me.
Man. Cohen's first guys bring it in. Now it is a fourth round Tootin, but I don't know. Do you feel like this draft, or is this over analyzation that there are just so many interesting prospect running backs when you look at where Scadaboo went, where Tootin went, and some of these running backs in the third and the fourth, that teams felt better passing on what probably could have been round 2, round 3 prospects and just kind of taking, like we saw a big string of running backs go. Like I'm not a big Trevor Etienne guy, but Woody Marks, Druckwis Hunter, Tootin, Scadaboo, all these being kind of in a similar range, fourth round, that would not have surprised me at all if they were third round guys.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think what you saw was there's a lot of high end talent. Like that's why you saw, the obviously Gene T. Hampton, but even the Henderson, Judkins, surprisingly RJ Harvey. And that's why we need to adjust him as one of those guys, but getting that significant draft capital. But then when we look at the fourth round running backs, and historically that's a pretty good round to get meaningful running back production. You have Bucky Irving. I think Tyron Tracy last year was a 5th round pick. So to me, if I'm looking at these players like a Scadaboo, and especially a Tootin, early 4th round picks, and then that kind of started the whole cascade of just all these other productive college running backs just getting hammered. To me, like, this is a perfect range to pick up those running backs, because the realistic part is like, I think Scadaboo is probably RB1 in New York, but a Tootin is probably going to be in a committee right out of the gate. Like, I don't think Etienne and Bigsby sucks. Not sorry to break it to everyone, Bigsby sucks. So like, there's only so much that we can, there's not a ton of competition there.
Yeah, and I think that like people will point to like Tootin production and talk about maybe he's not like a super strong receiving weapon and it's a little bit more of these like explosive runs and everything. But we got to see Cohen using Bucky in space, right? Like getting those like small screen touches. So I mean, you get a guy that has the burst that. And I'm gonna cut myself off here on the board. I think right here you have to look at the quarterbacks. I think this like early third when you're looking at Milroe and Chuck and man,
we got a Sanders pick. This
is sad, guys. The fun pick is Milroe, right? Man, I do think Chuck should go off the board soon. But I'm just gonna take the upside in the third round. I think if Milroe is starting a single game, if I get a single start out of this man in the next couple of years, I will say it's got to be Chuck over Sanders, right? Or
no,
it just has to
I'm
be.
sorry.
There we go.
I think Sanders is still probably, this might be controversial. I'm not taking him in the second round. I think mid third, I would probably take Sanders over any of the other quarterbacks after Dart. Like, really? I think he's still probably. I think he's QB3.
So what's the Jeremy conspiracy theory? I want you to give it to me. Is it just a headache?
The second he has one decent week or is rumored to start, because it's going to happen. I mean, they have Joe Flacco and a bunch of random guys. Yeah, like they have a bunch of random guys.
Explain the Dylan Gabriel pick.
The second he hits,
yeah,
that man's going to be worth a second. You're going to be able to get something for him. And if I can take like a mid to late third, like I can't get anything for. I mean, maybe Milroe. If Milroe smashes, I could see him being worth something. Mm-hmm. I mean, Shug or whatever his name is. I mean, that guy. You're just the only way that he becomes useful is he actually, plays. But you're not gonna be able to sell him for anything.
You know what's kind of fun and kind of interesting? I mean, Milroe is probably. I mean, you could say the least likely to get a start this next season versus
I would agree.
Chuck, Sanders, and even Howard. I mean, I know we're all expecting Aaron Rodgers to sign there.
Okay,
but.
Sorry to cut you off here. I'm on the clock.
No, cut me off. It's your stream.
How is Woody Mark still available here? I mean, I feel like that's a great pick.
Yeah, I think the skill set specifically versus Mixon. I think that's
he'll complement Mixon, and Mixon also has been banged up in the past.
He's kind of like the Darian Gumbawale with a little more juice replacement. Is kind of what I see Woody Marks
exactly.
as. But we see some of these kind of interesting landing spot running backs. Obviously, Brashard Smith to Kansas City, Gene Blue to Dallas. But once again, another kind of pass catching guy for
the Dallas. Will Howard pick is interesting. I did a mock draft on the DD Fantasy channel with Ray and crew, and that was before Howard got picked. And I remember we were towards the end of the third, and we're like, okay, now we're just drafting people that don't have teams. So it's interesting to see Howard and players like that jump up the board due to landing spot.
Yeah.
What do you think of Blue at Dallas?
Blue? I'm not a big Jaden Blue guy, but I mean I think pass catching specifically, but I think Dallas is just like we can piece together a running back room from these cast-offs. So I think they're just kind of. I'm not super excited as far as, but I think there's a chance that he does kind of have that. Oh, we see Kuniers. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself off here. This is kind of tough. I mean, the fourth round. I'm trying not to get too crazy about sticking to my priors on some of these.
I think players. I think I have a guy I would take in your spot.
Yeah, it's tough because there's a lot of these prospects that I liked that didn't get the draft capital that I don't want to be tied to. I know this is not the guy you're going to talk to, but how about the package that Detroit gave up to come up and get Tesla? 9.8 something crazy Raz. This is the Homer pick. The Raz. I don't think he had a drop.
Over Royals?
I don't think he had a drop in college. No, I should have been Royals for sure. But all I'm saying, there's some murmuring about JMO and maybe not getting re-signed.
There's the pick I wanted. Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Sampson and Hunter.
I like Jarquez Hunter too. Yeah.
Fourth round. Yeah, both of them were fourth round running backs.
And I think different. The cool thing about Hunter, a very different running back from Corum and Kyron. Like Corum kind of felt like, what if we just got Kyron again?
Kyron again.
Yeah. But all right, we got the. Yeah, it's kind of funny when we're like talking about great pick. We're looking at the 4th round. Like these are all going to be disgusting come actual rookie draft season. But no, I think Samson's an interesting pick. That's another prospect. I think that's probably one of the guys where I was talking about where prospects I liked that did not get the great draft capital that I was expecting, or at least decent draft capital. Like that is kind of tough looking at
Yeah.
I guess 4th round isn't terrible in this
there's
draft.
Just a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of running backs. Okay, so I think I might get a little crazy here. Obviously, it's a late 4th, so realistically, these picks don't matter. I do see Isaiah Bond still available, so there's some hope there. But honestly, I think Savion Williams is the guy I want here.
Mm.
I don't think he's going to really play wide receiver. That might be my hot take. I think he's probably going to be used more as a running back.
Yeah.
I know he did some workouts at the combine and stuff for that. And outside of Jacobs, I mean, who's behind Jacobs? I think AJ Dillon might be back.
Well, they've got
it gets gross.
Yeah, so you got the Marshawn Lloyd kind of like injury year that there's some hope there, and then Emmanuel Wilson, who just kind of spelled Jacobs a little bit last season. But yeah, I think as far as upside, I think there's some hope in with. Oh, and then we got Bryant, Mr. Irrelevant there, and then Taj Brooks, Cincinnati. What is that? Six round, right? I didn't whip out the 6th round. 6th round here, but there we go. Yeah. All right. So let's breathe that all in. Let's take a quick look before we get into the next one. What are I want to call out this fan in. I know there's a fan in comment from Tato Man here. So if I'm wanting to get fan in as a fun pick, do you think reliably lasts to the 210? I think it's kind of interesting. I think so. I mean, if you look at Tootin will for sure go before Fannin in most rookie drafts. You can kind of cross off the Ollie Gordon picks. That kind of swaps that out. I think the 2nd round receivers, I could see Scatabo for sure, Tootin for sure.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that's
Beck.
the range.
I know Beck has some hype.
I mean, people might prefer the other tight ends. I think for next season,
Ferguson.
You're probably more excited about Ferguson getting that spot. I think maybe Taylor's kind of tough sell with the Fields Jets situation, but I do like Fannin. I think Njoku's on. I think this is the last year. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they do bring him back. I mean, he's definitely. I mean, he's not hitting like the mid 30s or anything. Like crazy fall off, and it's a tight end position, which is a little bit less.
Yeah, and
like
this
running
was
back
a tight end premium. We did a 1.0 tight end premium, and as well, like I think too with Fannin, not to be like a Debbie Downer, but he is behind Njoku, so it's not like the expectations aren't super high. He's probably someone you could also buy like week 5 when the team that picked him is like, oh, like I have this meaningless running back or this meaningless tight end. You could probably just be like, hey, here's, Keaton Mitchell or something weird and get the deal done. But yeah, I think you'll definitely be available by the 210 in most leagues.
Yeah, the 210 after 210 goes. It just came out of the draft to 107 Henderson, 108 Judkins, 308 Taylor. I like. Oh gosh, am I just gonna be the gross guy that's gonna say I like getting Shuck? The 306, 406 Jordan James. Thoughts? Yeah, Jordan James. We didn't touch on him. I mean, that's a San Francisco running back at the 3-3. I think I would be hard pressed to take him over a quarterback that I think could start games. Okay, I know it's gross.
I will say if you want to get hyped up, I heard that Jordan James, I don't know for certain, but I heard he's the 2nd best running back in zone schemes behind Gene T. And San Francisco runs a zone scheme.
Okay.
So,
Sell your Durando. You heard it here first. But no, I think okay, here's the gross. Here's my Shuck pitch, and then we'll get into the next rookie draft so that we can keep this cranking if you guys want to get hop into another one. Another 50 likes. No, but I think I just think about in your Superflex leagues where quarterbacks matter, where you can move Andy Dalton when he's going to start for a couple weeks, where you can move Joe Flacco when he's named the Colts starting quarterback. Like that carries weight. And when you talk about, I mean, the Saints are going to give this guy a shot, Like, am I tripping? Is he not going to start games for the New Orleans Saints? Derek Carr hurt. We saw the Spencer Rattler experience. I'm not talking about the 2nd round.
I don't hate him at the 306.
Thank you.
I don't hate him at the 306. I'm just saying, if you don't got a picture in Sleeper as a quarterback, things are looking bleak.
Yeah. That's true. All right, the notables: Milroe over Sanders, Tesla over Royals, and Harvey over Judkins. I think yeah, I mean I'm maybe I'm just wrong on Shador. I will agree that he does kind of carry a little bit of weight as far as like name value. So we probably wouldn't be talking about a quarterback going at the spot he went in the draft if it wasn't Shador Sanders. After the team already took a quarterback, like that's pretty.
Yeah.
Like, names removed. That's
Gabriel
insane.
didn't even get picked.
That's insane. Like names removed, that's insane. But I will agree that there feels like there is some kind of weird juju extenuating circumstances around the situation.
People want him to be good. People want to believe in the story, and that's all you need. You just need him to have one good week, and everyone's like, "Oh, he should have been, the 3rd overall pick to the Giants, and now he's back." Because the narrative isn't even like as much based on his skill. It's literally like, "Oh, he bombed the interviews. He he was like cocky or whatever."
Yeah.
The second he goes out and starts balling, and then like starts, hyping up the franchise. If he does that, I'm not saying it's a guarantee. He is a 5th round pick, but
yeah,
he does that. You're gonna. I mean, people are trading 1st round picks for like Sam Howell and players like that. So
yeah. I
he has
hear
the
you.
highest ceiling.
I do. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a great quarterback evaluator. And obviously I expected to Shador to at least be a 2nd round pick to kind of go in the Shuck range. So I don't want to act like this carries a ton of weight. I do think he tends to, I think like scheme in Colorado and kind of throws what's open, but still with that being said, I can't disagree with the sentiment around him.
We'll have to get you a Shuck jersey. Put it on the wall back there next to your
okay
jersey.
All right, I said Shuck at the 3.6 was good value. That is not Shuck value worthy. Jeremy's a Debbie Downer. Yes. All right, chat understands. Thank you, Daniel.
I'm keeping people realistic here. I will say I do think I know Sean pointed out who was it, Harvey over Judkins. I think they're like the same tier, but I did that more as like,
you want to talk about Harvey?
Like let's not, our pre-draft notions that Judkins was way, in a completely different tier than Harvey. They're the same tier of guys. I think they're both pretty similar. To me, I like that RJ Harvey doesn't have any other running back with, right? Like Dylan Sampson is not bad as well. And they also picked him. So they did double tap running back there. They also have Jerome Ford, who's not terrible. He's not amazing, but it's a little bit more crowded than a team that just got rid of their 1st round running back, brought in RJ Harvey. Sean Payton loves a running back. I just feel like the situation's better, but I do think, if you took Judkins over Harvey or Harvey over Judkins, it's just personal preference.
Yeah. I hear. I think I'm probably more Harvey versus Caleb Johnson than Harvey versus Judkins. But I can't argue that like their outlook for the next season is going to be similar from a production standpoint as far as like what I'm estimating.
Yeah.
And at the running back position, and at the running back position, you could argue that that's all that matters because, you could talk about youth and age all you want and like, oh, Harvey's so old for Dynasty. But I mean, how long are we expecting to get out a lot of these running backs too? But I will say I do like Judkins, man, and that early 2nd with a team that had 2 3rd round picks and didn't take a running back until the 4th round in addition. But still, I'm sure that you're in a real rookie draft, you probably would sometimes take Judkins ahead of Harvey. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's literally I took Harvey in this one, I'll take Judkins another. I have one draft that's live right now. I have the 110 and the 112. So I'm just like whatever ones are there, I'm just gonna take. Doesn't matter which one.
All right,
should we rip another one up?
Yeah, let's rip another one. Let's see. Do we have a talking point while I'm getting this set up? And then I'll try not to mess everything up again. But we got
we got a 90% of highlights of Shador Sanders are getting bailed out by Hunter. Do you agree with that statement?
I don't want to just like use this as a like, because I'm sure you could find clips of me talking about Hunter probably being a 2nd round pick. So I'm not going to pretend like, oh, like, come on, guys, he should have fell to the 6th round of the NFL draft. You didn't watch all season. But I will say I do agree. I mean, he's got a decent arm. I think the offense was a little Mickey Mouse alongside, like I said, I just think there's like some quarterbacks, and like obviously Joe Burrow is like a crazy example to use, but like where the break is happening and the throw's being made, And
Mhm.
Shador, just a lot of plays were very much like, yes, he's getting out of the pocket, but it's like a play that's developing, just a crossing route. That's like, let me just throw
Mhm.
to like the simplest versus I'm like really dissecting and, able to, progress through my reads. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me he's like Kenny Pickett. Like that's kind of my expectations for him.
Hmm.
I just think it's like, do you want to have Kenny Pickett plus a circus? And I get why if you're the Giants you don't want to take him because it's like you're already on the hot seat,
Hmm.
and then you take Sanders and you're like, okay, we're gonna invest in him, and then Dion starts saying like, oh, these guys are coaching bad, like, and they're already on the hot seat. So to me, it's definitely I could just see from like a coaching and GM standpoint, it's like I only want to take that if I know I'm locked in as a coach. And that's
Yeah.
kind of like Stefanski. He's like he doesn't. I mean, he could literally go 0-16 for 3 years, and they're going to keep him. So
Yeah.
they put that man through too much at this point. We
All
do
right.
have this one here. I don't know if we touched on
All right.
it.
I'm posting this real quick when you're pulling that up.
Yeah.
I'm posting this in the chat. So, Jeremy, if you want to join from that as well.
Oh, I tried to click it on the chat thing.
But yeah, I'll read this while you're getting in there. We've got open 24 hours. Yo, what up? Sitting at the 109, 10 team start 11, super flex, tiered PPR. I'm tripping Jeremy out. This is on me, guys. Don't blame Jeremy. You can DM me.
Okay.
All right, we've got tiered PPR.
Yeah,
So
tiered
0.5
PPR.
for running
Okay.
backs, 1 for receivers, 1.5 for tight ends. Cam is somehow still on the board,
On
but
the
I have
board.
Hurts and Josh Allen plus Geno Loveland or Caleb Johnson. So it's a 12 or 10 team start 11, which kind of makes sense as far
Okay,
as
yeah.
quarterbacks falling, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
every team could have 3 quarterbacks, like 3 starting quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Loveland,
The market is very dry.
Caleb, or RJ, had McBride, Kelsey, and Andrews. I mean, this is where you talk about getting funky, and I don't want to move off of Hurts or Allen.
Yeah, I was about to say like, oh well, just trade your QB2, but Hurts and Allen are both difference makers. You don't want to move either of them. To me, I just think what fits your team is going to be taking Caleb or RJ, whoever you like, and just living with it. Because I think they're actually going to impact your team. Even if you take Cam Ward, it's like, cool, now I have to sell him in a 10 team. I have to sell a mid quarterback in a 10 team league that everyone, pretty much the entire league, just passed up.
Yeah. Right. They're
Like,
telling you how
to me,
they feel about quarterbacks in the league. I mean, I would try at the very least to look at, like, is there a team that it would make sense for them to want to go and get Cam Ward and reach out to that team specifically versus like, hey, this trade's on, or this pick's on the block. Somebody, come and get Cam Ward. Like, obviously they're not wanting to do that if passing on him up until this point.
Yeah, exactly.
But
to me, I would just take the running back in a start 11. You have to flex. You have to do all these things. Just take the running back in my opinion. And even like a Loveland, like I know this is a pretty significant, or not, it's major, but it's still like a 0.5 tight end premium, given the wide receiver. I don't think Loveland's going to be important in that format. So to me, definitely just take whatever running back you prefer. If it's a Harvey or a Caleb, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're getting close. We got 3 more spots left.
3 spots. We got a 14 team Superflex start 9. Have Lamar and JD5. Man, you guys got these crazy QB rooms, man. Josh Allen and Hurts, Lamar, JD5. Previous champ with the 111. Makes sense. Would you take Dart if he falls or take best player available? So it's a 14 team start 9. Thin at running backs who use Caleb Harvey. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate. I mean, especially if it's an impact to your team. But I think 14 team quarterbacks, that value does bump up a little bit versus what we were just talking about
14
in a 10 team.
Superflex, I'm probably going to end up taking a Dart here and just be aggressive to try to potentially trade him. Because I think you could take a Dart and then like he plays decent, and then you could take Dart in a third and get Swift in a first or something like that.
Just
that needs it.
Yeah.
And kind of answer your running back's positional need, and then kick out that pick in the future. But since it's a 14 team, I mean, you're starting 28 quarterbacks a week. So, there's only so many quarterbacks to go around. So to me, that's probably a more important position, even though I love Caleb and Harvey.
Yeah. I would just know exactly, like understand what Dart is probably going to be. So like, I do like Dart. I like the talent. I don't know. I mean, this is my like armchair quarterback scouting. I mean, obviously not a great offensive line. Like I don't love the
Stake
Giants
your
situation.
reputation on it.
All right, on my Jackson Dart end of the first take, but I mean he has some rushing upside. But I think the biggest thing about know what you're taking is he's probably not starting with them bringing in Russ and Jameis. I think my assumption is, and I don't know, I might be getting too tinfoil hatty, but
Oh
I think
boy.
the thing that saves the jobs of Shane and Dayball is look at the, we just took this guy and we've been working on developing him this season. We got to see a little glimpse of him at the end of the year. You can't fire us. Like, we've got to see this through. Let's see if he's the guy. So I don't think they want to play him too soon is what I'm trying to say.
Is that a bad thing though? In a
Yeah,
14
maybe not.
team
Maybe not.
Superflex league? I mean,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Know what
we
you're
just
taking.
got a taste of Penix, and Penix is
You got to taste that
value
Penix.
at QB1 in this draft class. So
All right, one spot. Who is going to be?
we're close.
10. All right, we randomizing, or are you like keeping the spots? Do you think people are choosing their spots? I'll let the people choose their spots. I like it.
Oh, we lost one.
Dang. That's on you, person who didn't join Team 10 when you could have. 2 spots here for the next rookie draft. All right, I'm trying to look at who have we not talked much about. I know we mentioned the tight ends a little bit. Loveland and Warren. Do you have a hard stance like in a league where tight ends matter?
Loveland or Warren.
Yeah. I think Warren does have the, oh my gosh, what if he's got the Taysom Hill stuff going on? They talked about it being the easiest pick that they've like had to make in a long time.
Is Anthony Richardson going to put it together?
Hey, Tyler Warren played some quarterback. No, I think it's hard not to get excited about Loveland, even with how crowded that area is, just with being the 10th pick for Ben Johnson. He's talking about the teams that generally win the game. I think it's a Ben Johnson quote, are the teams that have the highest. You're talking about like getting easier passes for Caleb Williams. Tiny time season. Jeez. Oh man, we keep getting 1 spot away and then 2 spots away.
Well, I think the person in the 1 moved to the 4. They're like, wait, why am I doing a mock draft and I have a guaranteed Gene T? Yeah, I was like,
oh, I've got this has got some funky stuff going on too. It's the,
I will say we got Luther Burden. What's your thoughts on Burden?
all right, so everyone know it's super flex, even though I don't have a super flex spot. All right, 1 away. I like Burden. I think he falls in that kind of, that early first receivers that I want to take. We talk about like crowded situation, yes. So I think it's just one of those things like I talked about with Dart, where it's like know what you're taking. Like there's a very real chance that it kind of feels like a little bit of a red shirty JSN type of year, like especially if more is going to be involved. They just brought in Loveland as well. It's going to feel a little bit crowded, but like we just see situations change so quickly in the NFL. Would not surprise me at all if 2 years from now, DJ Moore's not a Chicago Bear and it's, Rome and Burden and Loveland. I'd like Burden, and I like that Ben Johnson and, the Bears front office likes Burden. So I think it's an interesting spot.
I never thought about this, but does this change your opinion on like a Dunze at all? I know everyone just jumps to like a DJ Moore, but are you?
It's hard to feel great.
Pumping the brakes a little bit on saying like a Dunze, he was all right, but like it's not. I mean, both of them are first round picks. Mm-hmm. Burden's with the new coach. I mean, I'm not saying I would still say Dunze is the wide receiver 2 in this offense, but like. It's not like it's like a 3rd round wide receiver we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to like have super hard confidence in exactly how the wide receiver room is going to shake out. I'm not an anti Rome guy at all, but I wasn't ready to kind of throw him in the Malik Marvin Harrison tier in those conversations where it kind of felt like that was the big 3. Like I know that's how draft capital shook out with them both being like top end of the first round picks, but I just saw Neighbors and Marv as kind of clearly higher. No, Ben Johnson likes Burden. Yeah.
It's a bit different than like even like Dunze or not Dunze, Igbuka, Whereas like he's going in and Godwin and Mike Evans are very much established. Right? The only concern would be, is Godwin still healthy?
Yeah.
Right? That would be the only concern with that pick. Whereas like Adunze like could in theory get displaced. I don't think he will, but it's kind of a weird spot because, you know, Adunze and DJ Moore are both under contract for a while.
Yeah. All right, we got one more.
We got one spot. We gotta get some help filling up that last spot.
I'm itching. Somebody get in here. I'll give you a big thank you. I'll do a.
Let's see. Jacob says he thinks the potential of Warren being the centerpiece in Indy keeps him ahead of Loveland. I kind of agree with that. I think Warren in that safety blanket tight end with Anthony Richardson will be very impactful. And like, what do you got? You got Pittman with back issues. Hopefully those are fixed. And like Alec Pierce.
Josh Downs.
There's not much going on there. Loveland's got a crowded room. You got Burden, Adunze, DJ Moore, even DeAndre Swift is in the scrub. So, and you got Kmet still. So I do agree that it is a little bit crowded. And that's why I personally take Warren. But I do think, you know, realistically, they go within like 1 or 2 picks of each other.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I mean, we're playing Dynasty, obviously, and you know the NFL. I mean, just look at depth charts and rosters from. Okay, I'm just clicking start. Let's go.
Thank you, Doobie. You gotta lock it in.
Thank you, Doobie. You're on the clock. Get your Genty. But no, I mean, we're playing Dynasty, right? But alongside that, the first 2 years of rookies, especially high first round picks, even at the tight end position, is just so impactful for overall value. So even though I don't like to fully commit to here's the situation they're walking into right now, as far as target competition, quarterback situation, everything, I do think that first year is such a big impact on, you know, if Loveland is, you know, a top 5 tight end and Warren ends up being, you know, 12th or something, like Loveland's price is so much higher than what Warren is, even if you do like the prospects and there's changes to the Colts. And that I'm swapping those names too. Like even if I'm saying whoever is producing higher in the first season, they're just going to carry more juice because they both were top 15 draft picks.
I agree. I just feel like Warren has more of the juice in terms of like people like him. Yeah.
I don't know because I think
people are saying he's going top like 9 to the Jets or whatever.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Chat, let me know if I'm wrong. I feel like Loveland, even though he might not have the like Taysom Hill, George Kittle, this guy's going to be a monster, yak beast. Like I think Loveland kind of carries a little bit more of this is a slot wide receiver that I get to play at the tight end position. Now you could argue that, well, I don't like hearing that when they just took Luther Burden and they've got DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. But
when they have like a bunch of other options, yeah.
But yeah, let's get into so we've got Genty. I love Trav at the 102. Let's go.
I will say, currently on the clock, this is the spot where I think the first tier ends. And this is where I hate to be stuck if you don't need a quarterback, right? You need to move if you don't need a quarterback, because if you get stuck, and it's like the first trade that we talked about. If you get stuck taking a Cam Ward and you don't need it, if he isn't impacting your roster, that's a tough value to eat.
Yeah,
you could try to take a Henderson, you could try to reach on, a Judkins or something if you want, but you kind of have to go with the value play in the process. But it's still just a hard pill to swallow if you don't need it.
Yeah, the conversation about who's playing in the Amon-Ra role. Yeah, and I think there just probably isn't an Amon-Ra role. Like it's probably just based off of their personnel, and that's just what good offensive coordinators and systems do. All right, we see TreVeyon Henderson go off. This is a tough spot too. I mean, this is kind of you just talked about the 105 range. I think like the 106 through the 109, depending on how impactful tight ends. I'm not really looking at the tight ends in a 0.5 tight end premium, so it's probably between the receivers and Judkins for me. I do like Judkins. I am an Ibuka guy. I kind of want to place my stamp on being a guy who's willing to take Ibuka at the 107, 108. But man, how can you pass up on Nick Chubb 2.0?
You teased us right there. You did the Pat McAfee. Yeah.
It's just hard. I just think the juice Judkins can carry, if week 1 this guy's getting like 15 total touches, like boom, you can move him.
Yeah. You don't want to have like, okay, this guy is worth like a late first on my roster, and then they can never start him type player.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Judkins, you're going to start him almost instantly. This is interesting. Golden, you didn't even mention Golden, but Golden goes at the 108.
I think Golden is, he should be talked about at the end of the first for sure. He's a first round receiver. I do like the prospect, but man, I like Ibuka more, and I like the situation better. Even though you can say they're similarly crowded.
I'll say Patty Mills. Feel free to reach out to me in the Discord. We can talk. We're building out the channel a bit, but if you'd love to contribute, we can definitely talk some things out.
Yeah, we got to figure out
Loveland and Warren.
Loveland
at the end of the first.
Loveland, Warren. Dude, we got the RJ Harvey again going before Caleb Johnson.
RJ Harvey
he's got the juice in the streets.
Spot. It's probably the best spot, I feel like. Because, like, what's his backup? McLaughlin?
Mm.
Like, no one's scared of that.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Like, has Warren. Judkins has Dylan Sampson, Chubb, whatever's going on there.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, go for it.
No, I'm just gonna ask. Do you think the pick matters at all in people's minds? Like, let's say Caleb Johnson and RJ Harvey go back to back at the end of the second. Do you think that matters for people at all, or do you think the pick difference between the end of the second and the mid third is so negligible that it doesn't matter for people? It's just a matter of your preference on the prospect in the situation.
I mean, I think realistically it doesn't matter, but I think
I don't
personally
think
RJ Harvey went so high in the second and was kind of pre-draft. No one was really talking about him in that range.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are like, wait a minute, what did we miss? You know, it's not like, oh, like
it felt like we were hoping for third with Harvey.
Yeah, it wasn't like Matthew Golden, where it's like, oh, we kind of knew he was around that range,
mm-hmm.
but it was literally, oh my gosh, he kind of came out of nowhere and was this early second pick.
Dude, I just
Luka, the 2-3 is crazy value.
We're getting a first round receiver. I mean, I was talking about him at the 1-7, man.
I mean, Ladd McConkey went in that range last year.
And I guess people have to fall down for you to bring that up, right? Dart 202 is wild. Yeah, I get the super flex juice, man, but I don't think I'm taking him over a first round receiver.
If I need him, I will.
Yeah,
like Penix was here last year, Bo Nix was here last year.
Yeah, I think
it's good value to take those.
And maybe I'm overvaluing my understanding and like my prospect evaluation for quarterbacks, but man, I don't want to. You just look at the like late first, early second quarterbacks versus like early mid first as far as like taking in the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
we got the Sanders pick
on
the auto.
Well, I'll let it slide because then I'll get a better player at this pick that I could talk about. But
okay,
so that's all the first rounders gone.
Yeah, we have some early second round wide receivers. Trey Harris. Is Higgins still there? I think Higgins is. Can also go with like a Cam Scadaboo. I kind of like a Scadaboo. Yeah. I just feel like I'm fairly confident. Tyron Tracy is not scary to me. And why is that? Not because draft capital, because the man could not hold on to the goddamn ball. The dude kept fumbling.
So we talked about the second round, and I'm trying to get this in before my pick. Are you a Scadaboo Tootin guy before these early second receivers?
Early second receivers to me are kind of like Keon Coleman, Leggett.
Yeah.
Type of vibe, and
we see Higgins go here as we talk about that.
Yeah, I think they're in the same range. I just feel like on most rosters, a Cam Scadaboo is going to be way more relevant.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to start him. I'm going to be, whereas like if I'm sitting here, I'm like Higgins, like, am I confident to start Higgins in my flex?
Yeah.
Probably not until I see him like play a couple good weeks, and I'm like, okay, the usage is there, things are going right. Because I have other rosters where last year I took Keon Coleman and Leggett, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't want to start either of these guys. Technically, they have value.
Yeah.
But it's probably better for me to just get a running back that's going to touch the ball, 10 to 15 times a game.
Yeah, and with that being said, I've got Tootin and Harris are probably the two picks I'm looking at. I'm really not thinking about any of these tight ends, especially in this 0.5 tight end premium. I'm gonna go Tootin. I agree. I agree that
I do think
I don't hate
Trey
the Harris
Harris is a
pick.
good pick. Yeah.
Trey Harris. It was definitely Tootin or Harris. But yeah, I think Harris is a great pick. I think he should be that middle second for sure. And we see
I'm
Becco
curious.
there as
I'm
well.
curious. Nick take Jake. Are you a Knicks fan?
Don't do this.
Kind of. Can we talk it out a little bit?
Trey Harris, terrible pick, idiot. I'm just kidding.
Back over Harris.
It's for that Trey Harris.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Mist is right. I mean, Trey Harris at the 2.9 is incredible. People still like Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, I think is he pretty high up on the sleeper ADP? I haven't even paid attention to what that
He
ADP
must
looks
be.
like.
I mean, he must be.
I mean, Devin Neal and Isaiah Bond are here. Quinn Ewers, poor guy. Fire tips though.
Oh, boy. Oh, there we go.
All right, it's all right. We don't have to get into it. I would have loved some Hardaway free throws at the end of the game today. That's all I'll say. But all good. All good. Pistons in 7. No worries. All right, we got Jaden Milroe. Or we got Milroe and Shuck here.
Run here.
End of the second. Oh, and Kyle McCord. Gotta be tough putting in that Kyle McCord.
The Eagles barely wanted to do that.
After Shuck and Milroe. But I mean, you know.
I would
call
take
your shots.
Dylan Gabriel over McCord, I feel like.
I would take insert
Mason Taylor.
AI generated pick here versus I do like these. I think we need to spend a little bit more time in these tight ends because I mean, second round, you know, that like early mid second round. I mean, that's where we got the Sam Laporta. That's where we got the Michael Mayer as well. But no, I think that's a spot where tight ends can impact. Will Howard over McCord? Yeah, I mean, pure situation. You just have to do that, even though they probably both won't matter. All right, Dynasty Daddy on the clock here. Jalen Noel goes off the board.
Oh man, I don't know who to take. What I'm thinking, I don't really want to touch wide receiver in this range.
Yeah,
the QB's kind of ran off the board. Not really inspired to take a Dylan Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best values here are either kind of targeting some sort of 4th round RB, like a Woody Marks, which keeps fading, but I feel like he's a good value, and like Hunter. Maybe a tight end. I'll go tight end to shake it up a little bit.
Okay.
Second round tight end to Seattle. Some decent passing options there. And there's not really much there at tight end, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't even know who their tight end one is. Is it still like Fant, or is he gone?
Yeah, it's Fant, AJ Barner. Yeah. It's a lot of guys that Will believed in at some point is what it is. So it's probably going to be Arroyo is what that means. But yeah, mid third. I mean this is a perfect spot. I think even in these like minimal tight end premium leagues, like we can talk about tight ends not mattering all you want, but when you're getting to the range of early third receivers, who it's fun to get excited about Kyle Williams, but I do like Kyle Williams too. All right, Will's not going to take Tesla. Don't worry, guys. Harold Fannin.
Harold Fannin. I feel like you're the truther.
I am a Fannin guy, and purely it's really just the upside of a team that takes Fannin. Me thinking that a possibility is they see him kind of as kind of a slot plus tight end, because I think that's kind of what he is. It's just a big body receiver that like is a receiver in a tight end's body. So
I did hear some rumors that he may be utilized more in slot and things like that. So I don't think it's necessarily buried behind like an Njoku. I mean, 1,500 yards is 1,500 yards.
I mean, I'm a fan of Fannin at the 3.7. I'll tell you that. I mean, I'm not taking him over some of these, especially in these leagues where tight ends don't matter that much. I'm not taking him over like these fun running backs like Scadaboo or Tootin, these receivers like Trey Harris. But once you start into the third round with receivers, the Dylan Sampson. There we go. Seal of the draft. I do like Kyle Williams. I was about to kind of call out the third round range of receivers, and then I was like, oh, Will, you kind of like Kyle Williams though. And
that seems like a you pick.
Oh yeah.
Tesla.
I'm telling you, man, he's gonna be a dog. Oh, we got the Bears. The insert running back
happen.
Here. Bears pick.
The 7th round running back. You got that 7th round.
Let's see. Are we? I think we're through the second round with those tight. Do we get? Yeah, we got Mason Taylor. Yeah. So we're through the second round there. So we can pull up this 5th round.
We got blue. Ooh, dice.
Swift too many times last year. Guys, all right, chat. What do we think the Bears plan? I know some people were talking about in here about it looked like, yeah, right here. Ben did seem to shoot polls a look when someone asked about whether they were thought about trading him for a running back. Got sniped on Judkins and Henderson. Yeah, I think would not surprise me at all if we see the Bears. You know, I made the Chubb guess of, you know, they bring in somebody, but like somebody like that would not surprise me. Bear by preseason.
Chubb doesn't change anything.
J.K.
Dobbins is a good one. Yeah, like you need someone with a little bit.
Bro,
of production.
I want you to watch Chubb coming off the injury, just squatting more weight than either of us have carried in the last 3 months. And then, but I agree. It's tough making those old bets.
Me sitting here being like, oh, he's washed.
Chubb is nothing. No, but I agree. I think, you know, the hit rate of mattering at the running back position for people who've had Chubb's recent injury history at his age for sure. But I'm willing to make that bet. Nah, I'm definitely selling the Chubb that I have when and if he signs with the Bears.
I will say, as this draft continues, a player that everyone was saying would get cratered, B-Rob, survived. I mean, he came out rather unscathed.
Yeah.
I thought he would be like completely cratered because like what is this? Like he's kind of like the most mid guy you could have.
Do you think now? I wonder if, you know, I think a part of it could have been like, maybe he wasn't fully healthy. You know, that's why he wasn't really. You know, maybe that's a J.K. Dobbins Chubb team. Maybe
That's
I'm
true.
fantasy wish casting a little bit too much with these open running back areas, but no, I agree. I think hard to argue he's not a winner based off of, I mean, talk about pre-value. Now, does this change your perspective at all? Recent NFL drafts with this like historic running back class that's going to decimate all these running backs. And we've got some of these, you know, Chase Brown and, you know, Brian Robinson, you know, maybe even some of these running backs you don't get super excited about. Is it going to change your process at all on taking the risk on some of these guys that are just free? Like you could have gotten Brian Robinson for nothing for sure leading into the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a couple teams that had like a Brian Robinson and some of those guys that could get cratered. Because to me, it's like what their value is so low anyway. It's not like I'm giving up. Like there's a reason why I was like Chase Brown and Tyrone Tracy are good sells because people were valuing them towards like a late first type of value. And you know, and I know Tracy fell a while, but to me, I was like, the value is too high for me to say, yes, this player has the risk of being cratered if, you know, they draft a Scatterbo or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why to me, B-Rob's like you could maybe get a second if you're lucky. You know, like to me, he's one of those guys you just kind of roster him and like Swift. I see Andrew was saying he was shopping Swift. It's like those are guys that don't really have a high market. So I'm fine holding a couple of them. I assume I might lose one. They might stay. They're gonna be kind of RB2s, but you need those guys when you're, you know, playing.
Yeah, I'm gonna take DJ Giddens here. I think the Colts have.
I like Giddens.
I think the Colts have kind of told you that they don't want to throw Jonathan Taylor the ball for whatever reason, and they do kind of like having, you know, a running back that they can bring and do that. And I think Giddens for sure could be that for the Colts. But yeah, considered
Tesla.
Yeah, I can't keep making the same Lions homer picks, but he should go, guys. Take Tesla in the 4th round of your rookie drafts. Trust me. Io Manor is another guy that I liked pre-draft, but shot before or after the draft. It was after. It was like preseason.
It was after.
Yeah, it was like before preseason or something.
Yeah, who's gonna get shot this year? We have undrafted DJU going over Dylan Gabriel.
Oof. All right, Mr. Irrelevant here. Yeah, it's an interesting the sleeper ADP, and I mean
it is a bit weird.
You all know this, but your rookie drafts that are starting, I mean, take your time. God forbid. Hopefully none of you have these fast clock moving rookie drafts that's like 30 seconds. Hopefully you all have 8-hour timers where you're able to make trades and everything. But man, definitely be using other resources and referencing like where rookies have already gone, because man, you got to scroll.
You can use Dynasty Daddy.
Yes.
We got our ADP. We got all that stuff.
All right, this is a B-Rob trade. Traded B-Rob and Javonte Williams for the 203 and a 26th third. before draft to our BDE team. I think
Draft.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, even after the draft, with like both of those guys getting good situations, I love that. Like the 203.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's an early second. You're probably going to get something meaningful. I mean, again, Javonte Williams is someone that did come out relatively
Yeah,
unscathed. I mean, he's going to have some sort of role.
at least for
But
this season for
you
sure.
got an early second, you got a
Yeah,
third. Yeah, I mean, I imagine, sometimes you just got to clean out the trash. Put stuff on Facebook Marketplace, have people buy it, get something for it. That's
I
and
know.
true, like
Yeah,
what Andrew said.
free.
203 was like Buka. You might walk away with a Buka or a Dart or something super valuable with that pick. So
I think
I definitely
Golden.
think he came out on top.
I think typically Golden will be the first round receiver that drops, in my opinion, from what I've seen and heard. I don't know. Do you feel differently? I feel like he gets the one, he went after Ibuka. Two, he gets the Packer stink. Of just like, oh, they move the ball around, whatever, they don't have. Three, there's just like some stuff that was just kind of weird with like the press conference, with like special team stuff a little bit, alongside kind of like sacrificial acts vibes of, he can stretch the field type of thing. Now with that being said, he's a first round receiver. I will be taking him at the range he should go at the end of the first, early second, 100%. But I do think wouldn't surprise me at all if he falls kind of where Ibuka went in this draft off my board. Yeah.
Golden Ware.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that. That's the biggest thing.
I think he probably will go ahead of Burden. I feel like people are more down on Burden landing in that crowded Chicago spot. I mean, I do think Golden.
I think it's more the running backs. I think would push him down. Like obviously, people get excited about Harvey, Caleb Johnson. The tight ends might go, and then even you start getting into like, wouldn't shock me at all if we see someone's like, give me Scadaboo, bro. I was watching the college football playoffs.
That's true.
I don't think it should happen, but it wouldn't surprise me. Is all I'll say.
That's definitely true. I mean, I think the 203 is probably, you're going to end up with a good player, right? I mean, worst case, you get like a Scadaboo, which is probably better than B-Rob, Javonte in terms of value, in terms of what you can do leading up to the season. And he's probably going to have a significant role. I'm not saying Tyron Tracy is ethered or anything, but he's definitely going to be on the field doing things.
It is interesting. It sounds like you are. What's your percentage chance that after the end of next season, Tyrone Tracy has a higher dynasty ranking than Cam Scadaboo?
I think he maybe like 20%.
Dang, okay. I mean, age is going to play into that a little bit too, and if it's 50-50, it's Scadaboo for sure. So he has to be dominating.
Going 27, and he's 5th round draft capital, potentially a new coach, and they don't have a ton of playmakers. And Scadaboo is a playmaker. Same with Tracy, but I just think it's going to be a lot harder when like it was Tyrone Tracy and Eric Gray. And it's like, okay, well, Tracy keeps fumbling. Let's put in Eric Gray, who averages like -2 yards a carry. Now it's going to be, Tracy keeps fumbling. Let's put Cam Scadaboo in, who did not fumble once last year. Yeah, like to me, there's only so many times you can shoot yourself in the foot. And if Tracy can't solve the fumble issue.
We got one more year, I think. But yeah, I think that he kind of was getting phased out a little bit. But I think obviously with this draft pick too.
For Tracy before too, yeah.
So do you I see that the 207 being called. I know we mentioned them a little bit, but do you feel good about Burden and Higgins, both those early first receivers? And I'm not going to feel bad taking Trey Harris.
I think the cutoff for me is probably Higgins, Harris, and I will say Beck.
Are you not a Beck fan? I was going to ask because I think it sounded like that was a tier for you, even though they're both kind of late second receivers. Is it more the spot? I know you're a big Jacoby guy. You got Jacoby, Brock Bowers.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone has looked up recent TCU wide receivers and how they perform.
Yeah,
No, but sometimes it's
he's
just a
not
helmet.
wrong.
I've been burned. I've been burned. But I mean, to me, the draft capital, you got to be like early second or better for me to really want to take a wide receiver. Otherwise, I'm
Mhm.
literally grasping at Puka Nakua or, like
Yeah.
Amon Ra is the only relevant wide receivers in that range. Um,
All right, call
and
your
I guess
shot.
like,
Who's the Puka? Who's the Bucky?
okay, if there is a Puka, if there's a Puka, it's probably Beck, to be
Tesla.
honest. I guess Beck is a second round pick, right? He's like a late second. So I
Yeah,
don't know if that really
I mean,
counts.
I think the Bucky probably you got to give it to one of those early fourth guys, right? The right here, Tootin or Scadaboo. I mean, those feel
Yeah,
like
I think Tootin or Scatterboo are locked in. Um, if we're gonna get grosser, I think Woody Marks has a pretty
ooh.
decent chance of being relevant.
Wait,
Um,
I gotta pause you. I'm
what's
interrupting a
that?
question I asked. I think we have an on the clock question. Took RJ at the
Okay, okay.
109. Next two picks were Golden and Ibuka. I'm up at the 2-2. Caleb or Loveland. I would need to know a little bit more about the context of the league, like how big is this tight end premium. But
Yeah, I was
man,
about to say we need to know that tight end premium. I think he asked a previous question. Maybe it was that. Okay. I will say everyone loves tight ends. Tight end, like people love to talk tight end premium. I don't really care about tight ends unless you have like the elite ones, even in a tight end premium league.
ooh,
To most, like
10 by
one, I assume
11,
it's one. I assume it's full PPR
1.5.
0.5. Um, to me, I'm going Caleb here. 10 team. You're only starting 10 tight ends each week. Like, okay, cool. I use an early second on a tight end. If I go and try to get a second for Loveland when only 10 tight ends start each week,
Mm-hmm.
people are going to be like, every team's going to have one or two tight ends that they're like, oh, I'm fine rolling out in Joku. Like, I don't need to
Yeah,
pay for Loveland. So,
and there's just there's a lot higher chance that Loveland ends up being somebody you're. I'm not even saying this is likely, but I'm just saying in terms of like you don't care about having them on your roster versus
mhm.
Caleb Johnson. So obviously a tight end that just went 10th overall in the NFL draft to an offense people are excited about. Obviously, I want that guy on my roster. I'm not going to pretend like that doesn't carry name value, excitement, whatever. But in terms of like pure week to week scoring compared to what else I have, like, am I going to throw in Colson Loveland over David Njoku like week one? No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then so am I going to throw in Caleb Johnson over whatever crappy running backs I have? Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, no, it fits your team better. It really has to be a start two tight end league for me to consider Loveland, especially in a 10 team.
Yeah. Oof. I'm
Uh,
not a big Trevor Etienne guy. I want to answer this one quick, and then I think we got a bigger question here.
okay.
Are you a fan? And this is another Carolina focus question. But let's not forget
Yeah,
Dowdle,
so
man. I think like Dowdle was a real NFL running back last season.
I don't think ETN is he's more than one injury away from really being relevant. He has to be out Daddle, which I echo everything you say, right? Yeah, like he was pretty solid last year. He'll be great as a number 2 behind Chuba. Jonathan Brooks is probably dead from a fantasy perspective with him taking a fourth round running back and signing Dowdle. Like
R.I.P.
that ship has probably sailed. But to me, I really just think it's going to be Chuba, Daddle, and then maybe Etienne gets some special team work. Maybe he takes, slowly works his way in. But he's someone to me is like, oh, cool, I can pick him up on waivers next year when everyone does roster cuts. And then maybe he's probably 1 or 2 years away from actually being one injury away from being relevant.
Yeah, and I'm not a big Trevor Etienne guy. Just in terms of like compared to a lot of these other running backs.
No, I
Important
agree.
question here. Oh, sorry. I was about to answer a
No,
Pokemon question.
I was
So
disagreeing. Yeah, you're good. I was just
I'll,
saying
I'll
I agree.
I'll always let you agree. If you want to elaborate on you agreeing with me,
I was
I'll
just
always.
agreeing with you. I was like, man, you got some good points over there.
Thank you, sir. Favorite Pokemon? I'm gonna have to go Mudkip. That was Will's first starter.
Mudkip.
Ruby
Okay.
was the first game I played. I wasn't allowed to play my brother's Pokemon games, so I finally got my own Game Boy. Got to play some Ruby, and yeah, it's my
Was
first
it one
level
of the
100.
flip ones? The
No, I
flip
do
ones
have
with
it
the
was.
SP with the
And
light.
shout out Grandma Joelle. We used to go down to Kentucky, and I
Yeah.
played Ruby. I just finished it, and I was like, Grandma, this is my favorite game ever. Can you go buy me there's a new one? And I didn't know that Sapphire, that there were like different color games that were like literally the same game
The
with
same game,
minor
yeah.
differences.
Like 3 Pokemon.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, can you give me the new one? She goes to the store, gets me Sapphire. I open it up. I'm like, what the hell? This is just the same game. And I was like, I can't tell her. Like,
Not
she
even
just dropped
Emerald.
30
Not
racks
even
on
Emerald.
this. Yeah, so yeah, right. Not even Emerald. So I just played it all the way through with Mudkip again.
I will say I played Emerald. That was my first one.
Dang.
And I played Leaf Green as well.
Okay.
I was always a Bulbasaur guy. That all the cool kids
You
had
kind of
the
give off
Charizard.
Bulbasaur vibes.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
It is a compliment. It's it's got to be. Ooh, higher on Caleb than most people. He focused around the story. Taper City wasn't fast. Yeah, and I think the system is great. I mean, you talk about Arthur Smith, Pittsburgh, hard.
It's like Warren. Warren doesn't have a ton. They don't have a quarterback, so like they're gonna have to lean on the run game. Do we hit on these ones up here?
Yeah, I'm pulling up this one from Robert here. Got the 102 and the 104. My QBs are Bryce Young and Penix. Running back wide receiver situation is Mixon, then CD, Puka, Marv. Should I be using the 104 on Ward if he's there, or can I deal with 2 QBs? That's an interesting tier. We saw a lot of Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. We got Bryce Young and Michael Penix. Ooh. So I would kind of be curious the format. Do you have the format here, Robert? How many starters? If this is like
I use the 104.
Because it makes me a little bit more likely to be willing to do that if it's
because I assume the 102 you're taking Hampton because all you mentioned was Mixon. So Mixon, Hampton.
Yeah, don't hate that. 12 teams start 10.
And then you're choosing either Tet, Hunter, or Cam. Assuming one of those wide receivers is gone at the 103. To be honest, I feel like I might just go wide receiver here because you do have 2 guys that are probably locked into starting.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I could probably get a cheap third option, like a cheap Stafford or something like that.
Yeah.
And assume, hey, if I'm going with gross quarterbacks to begin with, why would I spend another pick to just get a gross quarterback? Now, could I take Penix in the 104 and get a quarterback that has higher value? And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm rocking with Kyler or something, and you feel a little bit more confident in that player.
Mm-hmm.
Or probably like Bryce in the 104. But for me, I'll be like, cool, like I'll answer my quarterback questions with Cam Ward, and then now I'm like, oh, now I have 3 of these guys that are young, have a little bit more value, things like this.
And shout out Scott Connor. I know he did a breakdown positional expectations for, going through like all the rookie positions based off of, where they're drafted and everything, and rookie quarterbacks, just from a production standpoint, just like going back all the way through, first round picks, high first round picks, obviously even including 101s like Cam Ward. Just not high expectations, I'll say. And you can see that reflected in where he's going in underdog drafts as well. Everyone knows he's starting for Tennessee. I wouldn't expect, Will Levis to hold that job.
No wide receiver one,
no real veteran presence. Yeah, so I think I kind of agree with that sentiment where, and I think worst case scenario, you're able to build up the value with taking a wide receiver there, and then being able to make some kind of deal that's a Penix plus to get into a really high tier of quarterback. Or
I mean, you take Bryce Young and Marvin Harrison Jr. and go buy, like, upgrade at quarterback versus, okay, now I have 3 quarterbacks and no one really wants.
Right.
Then you could roll Tet or Hunter as your wide receiver.
Yeah, and I mean, you already have a QB3 that should start games this season, so I'm not even worried about that.
Russ should be fine.
All right, we got DK or the 109, 12 by 11 Superflex non-tenor premium. This is why I kept the draft board up. Let's take a look here. So you're probably looking at, you can get a first round receiver. You can get a reroll at that position. You can go one of these interesting running backs. It probably would be a positional pivot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would take DK over the first round wide receivers But if I'm like, ooh, I need a meaningful running back, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I can get I can get Johnson or Harvey or Judkins or whoever at the 109,
Yeah.
and kind of live with that. So I do
I
think
think it's pretty
it
fair.
kind of
That's
depends a
probably
little
where.
on your team,
Yeah.
but you get a little bit more flexibility with the 109. So if you don't need like a wide receiver 2 type player, then yeah, like go for it. If you do, then it's like why are you re-rolling Metcalf or Burden or something like that?
Yeah. DJ Khaled is into the chat. Another one. All right. You want to queue up one more rookie draft?
Yeah, we can rip one more. We can
see
do
if we can
one
get it
more.
going. All right. All right. I'll get it cooking. We'll pull up. I was about to pull up a fantasy question, but you got a favorite TV show on right now?
Me and the wife have been watching a lot of Summer House. Been going through that right now.
Summer House.
Gotta have the Bravo TV.
Wait, is that like should we do no tight end premium? Or am I being too kooky? All caps, no tight end premium.
No tight end premium.
I'm making you guys do it. Because I have one that's coming up I have to draft for. Yeah, we're doing another rookie draft.
I'm not watching The Last of Us. Season 1 is good. Yes, the first game is good. The second game is all over the place. So I was like, I don't need to continue it.
All right, copy invite link.
See, Robert said, yeah, I felt that
no
Ward
Superflex
isn't the answer. No. Oh, I guess we probably should do a no Superflex. I don't know if it changes much.
Single quarterback. You guys are gonna really make me deep reaching in my bag for some of these picks.
Single quarterback.
All right, if people want it, I'm a man of the people.
I feel like I need an interesting spot because I did what I think I did 10 and 5.
All right, this is 1 QB.
I'll do 12.
12 by 10. No tight end premium. This is like the league that I'm least likely to take on if somebody posts an orphan in the Discord. But hey, we give the people what they want. So I'm gonna have to change these draft settings too.
What's that? Shimmy. Summer House. It's like a normal Bravo reality show. It is interesting. I get to learn about the Hamptons. It's a place I've
Marion Hampton.
Don't have enough. Yeah, Marion Hampton. It's running through my mind.
All right, all right, everyone in chat, you need to know this is single quarterback. We're ending on single quarterback.
Single quarterback.
They're making me do it, but I'm making me do it because I'm a man of the people. Let's go.
We'll have to do some more. We'll have to do some more of these draft streams. I feel like it's a fun way to interact with everyone.
We could do mock drafts. We could do some startup drafts with rookies included too. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll do. I'm sure we'll talk through how we're handling some of these Dynasty Daddy leagues. We'll figure that out. We'll hit the. Jeremy and I will go. We'll set up a meeting. I'll put some time in his calendar.
We are 2 away.
2 away. Single QB flex your positional player knowledge. Take your Tesla in the 3rd round. Really flex on them. No, I'm not.
In case you didn't know yet, we do have the subscriber count. I think it slowly counts up.
I can't get
if
there.
it's working. We'll have to see.
You have to do that.
Way? I think.
No.
Other way.
Yeah, you had 50% shot. No, I watched Severance. That was good TV, but I haven't really been watching anything, to be honest.
I do want to watch Severance.
I've got a true crime girl in my home, so I watch a lot of the freaky documentaries about people dying. So that's where we're at with it.
That's what you're up to.
Do we figure out if it
Andrew?
counts
It does not count down. It does not count down.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, all right, it only
one
can
spot.
count up.
Last spot for the final mock draft.
Team 9 in a 1 QB league. This is your office league, right? This is
the
water cooler talk.
This is
You're like, oh, I play a little bit of fantasy. I don't
This is the home league that you're like, please, guys, like Superflex is sick, and they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they're like, what is this voodoo? Like we
Oh,
only
there we
play
go.
standard here.
Bang. All right, Will's bladder is ready for the final rookie mock draft.
He's got to lock in.
All right, these first picks will be a little chalky, so we'll take this one. If I were down tiering from Burrow to Stroud in a 12-team Superflex start 10, what sort of draft pick should I be getting this year? I mean, I want to be in the fun range for sure. Like I would love. I mean, do you think you can get a
You do it for like
top
the
5
202?
pick? 202.
Top 5.
I mean, I'm aiming for the skies. I don't know. Do people? I thought people were down on Stroud.
I feel like you could get maybe like the 108.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping.
I don't. If you can get anything above that, absolutely. Okay.
All right, we are going to remove and then set as Genty.
We got Doobie pulling some sabotage here.
Classic Doobie. That is just classic DB6.
But yeah, I mean, I
Gave me
think,
a good giggle,
I think
though.
honestly, in a Superflex league, I'm not opposed to like a late first. I would probably do it. Something I think I need to do better at in my leagues is when a player has like a top season, being comfortable tearing down. No one's gonna be like, oh, you have Burrow, here's Shroud in the 101. But like you could probably get maybe 2 seconds or something and be like, okay, like stay within a certain range and you know, eat some of that value, because realistically, is Burrow going to repeat as a top end quarterback? It's going to be hard.
Yeah, and it's also like, what do you lose when you lose, right? Where it's like, if Stroud has a similar disappointing-ish season and Burrow smashes, like if you're still able to get, you know, a late first player. All right, on the clock here.
This is interesting.
This is interesting. This is a lot less exciting.
Judkins going at the 4 over Hunter.
Judkins,
and all the Superflex drafts, Hunter went above.
I'm looking at Ibuka. It's Ibuka, Caleb Johnson, Harvey, for sure. I haven't taken Ibuka, and I think he should go in this range.
We know you wanted to press that.
I'm an Ibuka guy. I'm not gonna act like I'm not getting the JSN treatment. Tough situation, but I mean, there's a chance that we get to see some sprinkles that might kind of shoot up that dynasty value. You know, let's say Godwin. You know, it hasn't been Godwin's on great track. It's been, let's hope he's, you know, we're hoping he's ready for week 1, which kind of sounds like we'll see. That sounds like potential pup. I'm totally throwing that out randomly out of the blue. No,
they might slow roll him as well. You know, it might be something.
Now that you've got Ibuka there, I mean, there was. I will say in the press conference, I've been trying to listen to a little bit more of the press conference stuff. You know, obviously post draft, you get to hear immediate reactions for coaches and GMs. You know, obviously, highly recommend people checking that out. But you know, they talked about loving Jalen McMillan, which you're gonna say after you draft a receiver in the first round versus the rookie you just took last season. Like, you're gonna say we love this guy, but yeah, I'm not buying that. Ibuka is just so much better.
Yeah, I mean, there's McMillan, another one of those guys where it's like people are steaming them up. I didn't think he would get absolutely nuked, but I mean, he's done.
I know, that's tough. I mean, this might be. I don't know. I know some people are talking about this might be Evans last season. There's been some swan song vibes, I've heard. I don't know if I'm buying it fully.
Yeah, but I mean, do I want to hold him for a whole year to maybe have them draft another wide receiver?
Yeah, right.
So what I'm thinking is tight end premium, still the top end tight ends both went late first.
Yeah.
Cam Ward's still available, but again, one QB, not really interested.
Yeah.
Most of the top end RBs are gone, right? Harvey, Henderson, Caleb Johnson. I'm probably going to lean towards either a Burden or a Golden, just because first round draft capital wide receivers. And you know what? Golden,
I think
it's gross. It's gross, but he's the 23rd pick. And, you know, who knows? Who knows? You know, they have like 8 wide receivers that are not terrible. So I just hope that Golden can kind of replace that Christian Watson type role. Get those big plays. Doesn't need to have a ton of volume, but, you know, kind of be that burner. And I do think Burden's the right pick here after that. It's like one or two. Like, both of those guys are within the same range.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, you don't want to be a like really really solely only focused on draft capital, especially cross positionally. We talk about some of these running backs, but I will say for all the negative stigma Golden has, like at the end of the day, just remember that this is not only a first round receiver, but one of the first round receivers the Packers have taken in years. So I mean, I'm not saying that that's, we see Cam Ward here, which I mean, I will say that in most single quarterback leagues, when I'm getting trade questions and I'm seeing people's rosters, I'm like, please sell your quarterback that has value. That is not who you're starting week to week, because it doesn't matter at all. But still, I mean, Cam Ward does have the ability to, you know, put himself in the shrouds here, like that exists, and you know that has name value. So I don't think it's a terrible pick. I probably would still go with some of these early second receivers. But I don't think it's
Yeah,
terrible
there's still
pick.
like a Cam Scadaboo. I feel like a Scadaboo is someone that I'd also be considering in a 1QB here.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, is a 1QB very different than Superflex? I mean, you basically just move Cam Ward down.
Right. Can someone explain to me how Damian Martinez slid so far in the draft? I don't know. And I don't want to get too, I talked about like being committed to my priors on how I feel about players, but yeah, it is just hard to see all the running backs that went off before Damian Martinez that I think are way worse than him, and not have that be an indictment on my own prospect evaluation.
I wish he went to Dallas, because he would have just been steamed up. People would have loved it.
I know
Here's
the spot sucks too. Not only is it a crappy draft capital, there's Higgins and Harris.
He's behind Shards and Kenneth Walker, so it's tough there.
So your second round receiver rankings, are you going Higgins, Burden? Is it draft capital?
I put Burden above him. I'd rather take Burden.
Brutal. Both the running backs go, which is surprising that they fell this far. It's got to and Tootin, even though I guess it's not that bad. But
yeah, it's starting to get a little crusty here.
No tight end premium. I don't want to take one of these quarterbacks. Crazy Will would talk about some sort of Jalen Milroe is the quarterback you would want to take.
Yeah, Milroe.
But yeah, I don't think I can do it. I think I probably just have to beg my league to let me trade back. And if not,
just
I'll
run out the clock.
Just take in,
like I'll take anything.
Yeah, I'll take JB.
Okay.
Doesn't feel great, but yeah, and a single quarterback 207 sucks in single quarterback. Yeah, it does feel pretty bad.
I mean, I think Tootin's a good pick. I mean,
it's a great pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the 2-6 is fine. I mean, I still think there's some decent running backs available as well. I mean, they're going to be more one injury away guys. So you're looking at like the Woody Marks and tight ends in a non-tight end premium. I'm not really even thinking about many guys like a Harold Fannin, like until probably like it's got to be like mid to late third.
Yeah, well, it's tough though because I agree that I think like overall, but I mean, if you're talking like compared to the receivers, you're also hitting the range of should we really be taking the bets on these guys, like these third round receivers versus the tight end, where even in a no tight end premium, I agree, but like as far as like name value goes, there's a chance that just pure dynasty value, like I'm able to put this guy on the block and somebody will send me a DM, you know, like that kind of value.
I feel like wide receivers are easier to trade. Like I feel like you could take a Knoll or a Beck and trade him easier than the Fannin, but I feel like Fannin will probably crack your lineup before you actually start like a Knoll.
Yeah, I guess it is. I agree with that sentiment, but you also have to kind of add in the caveat of they're also more likely to completely fall off the value earth, where it's like, man, we're not even getting like Tesla's like not even seeing Johnson, the field.
And you're like
oh
the
man,
wide receiver,
Tim Patrick's got him.
The Jalen Polk
practice squad. Oh gosh, yeah, exactly.
Javon Baker last year, everyone's like, oh, juicy landing spot. Drake May, he's gonna crush, and then gets cratered.
Who's the who's Jeremy's guy in murky drafts that you're kind of eyeing as this guy's he's fallen, I'm able to kind of take a shot on him? I saw you take Savion. Do you kind of, is that a little bit of like, if I'm going to take one of these kind of grosser fourth round, third round receivers, give me the guy who has like weird upside?
I
Jermaine
think he has
Burton,
weird
yeah.
upside
Oof.
because I think he might get like the dual designation. So to me, I'm like, that's more interesting than like one of these like weird wide receivers, right? Like I'm not gonna take like maybe a Royals. I could see people hyping him up.
Yeah.
But even in this range, I still think there's decent running backs available.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, if I'm feeling freaky, I do feel like in a 1 QB league, Milrow is someone that I would potentially consider just because if he does hit the rushing upside, he's going to have meaningful,
Now, what about
1 QB scoring.
what about versus a dart? I know you're on the clock. I don't know if those are the names you're considering. So feel free to cut me off.
I would rather take a
Milrow
Milrow probably. I'd probably rather take Milrow over Dart just because
the
it's a
crazy
1 QB.
upside is higher than
Yeah, I need
the floor matters
crazy
less.
upside. But still, there's some fourth round running backs available, so I'm just going to. Who should I take? I'll go Jordan James. I was going to take Woody Marks again, but I was like, I've taken him
and then he goes in the next
all
pick.
3 times. Yeah, I've taken him the other one, so I was like, I need to not just always take Woody Marks.
Mm-hmm. I will say
I think
took
you got to run those running backs off first.
Yeah, single. Yeah, we're talking about single quarterback. The wide receivers. I mean, some of these tight ends should go off the board. Kind of at this point, we're gonna get into the nasty range. I'll let the Shador auto pick go through. These picks are gonna be gross, regardless of if Shador goes or not. For sure. Yeah, and it's definitely, I think the conversation is more of single quarterback, where it's and Dart runs. I will kind of give him that. So I think there is an argument there. Like right here, I mean, I don't want to tilt my pick. I mean, Brain, you probably want to make a more fun pick than Jackson Dart, but I'd probably look at him. Oh yeah, exactly. There we go.
No, I mean, I agree. I think they're close, but in a 1 QB league, I probably am sitting with a team that has Penix or like Jordan Love or something. Like QBs just don't have a ton of value.
Yeah.
So unless if I can literally hit on the next, like even Justin Fields upside for like 1 year, that's going to be worth it versus, more of a pocket presence type of passer guy. Like I need someone that's putting up crazy numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's we just talked through this whole bet, and I'm still on the clock. The 3-7 a single quarterback. Not sure if I want to do the Milrow bet or the Harold Fannin bet, or one of these like get-ins, these running backs that could have a role. Let's I'm gonna do the Fannin bet, and it's it's the same kind of thing I talked about where I think the floor I care about less, and it's that like crazy. Wow, remember this like tight end that had this insane college production, and Njoku somehow isn't there, or it doesn't even matter because he's playing the field as a slot receiver. This is all like total hopium, crazy, highest upside possible. But that's what you have to do in the third round in single quarterback leagues, right? You want to hit those like crazy lotto tickets versus
like
cash in a
backup.
Stakes
are so low. Yeah, like it's like oh well, like it's Fannin in the third.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, you're not missing a ton.
Yeah, and Milrow, that's a good pick there. I like that.
Yeah,
and Royals too. I mean, Kansas City receiver, if you're talking about.
I was hoping Milrow would fall to me. I'm biting my nails here. Okay, yep. Another, I think he was a second round pick as well, so that makes sense. I mean, at this point, you just want someone that might see the field.
Yeah.
And that's why I will take just another fourth round running back. I know it's boring, but
I like Hunter. I mean, Hunter's one of those running backs I liked. I mean, obviously you don't love the capital and spot.
Yeah, and he has to beat out Corum to be the backup, but they also might not be 100% sold on Corum. If they double down on a fourth round.
Mm-hmm. I know there was. I think Sean McVay was saying something about that they. I don't know if it was like wasn't proud of or didn't love the way that they kind of installed Corum, and that might have explained a reason why. He got like early on. It was kind of like a random single series. But still, I think it is kind of interesting that they did bring in a different back type.
Yeah, and two, like this class is
A
so
little more
deep
juice.
that we need to like bump up the later guys. You know, like because teams are gonna fade them all if they're all pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that we got to consider.
I think that Neil is better than Kendry Miller. But
Yeah, I would say so.
the draft capital wouldn't say that. Also new coaching staff there. But you don't love the capital that Neil got.
I think both Neil and I'm gonna butcher his name. What Monagai? But I think
I'm just gonna
basically any of
nod.
those guys, yeah, whatever. Their draft capital, early fourth, late third, if you want. There's a lot of running backs in this range that are going to see time. I think another one that I haven't mentioned, but Brashad Smith, Kansas City running back. A banged up Pacheco, Kareem Hunt. There's options for him to rise up in that depth chart as well. And there's just going to be a lot of guys in this. I don't know if the guys I'm talking about are going to be the ones that hit. We might be looking back at Hunter and be like, okay, that was not a good pick. But it also might be the pick. Kyron might get hurt, and then all of a sudden it goes crazy. So you just never know.
I was about to talk about how I like the Gadsden pick just because I like the spot, but it's an auto pick. Am I wrong to think this is a range you have to take Xavion? Get trade guy for room, free for all of wide receivers unproven depth behind Jacobs. Yeah, I know Jeremy talked about liking that as far as what we saw at the combine. Oh, there we go, Tyler Shuck, great pick.
I appreciate it, Andrew and Jake. I'll work on my pronunciations. Yep, there. Brashad Smith, that's a good pick. I was hoping he would fall.
Yeah, I think Savion's probably the pick for me here. I mean, third round.
Yeah,
receiver.
I think that's a good pick.
It's so funny. The single quarterback is where we haven't seen Ollie Gordon go off the board yet, even with some of these.
I was about to mention like Ollie Gordon was a second round pick in the first two drafts we did.
Man, it's just I keep seeing some of these names that I just was so bought in to getting 2-round better draft capital than they actually got.
Yeah, I mean Martinez hurts because he's not only someone I liked, but he was buried. He's buried in draft capital and buried behind two very capable running backs, so it makes it tough.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about the Ollie stuff, and I mean obviously it's worthwhile for them to take a shot in the 6th round for somebody who's had a very solid productive college football season, but it was a great prospect. But yeah, it'll be interesting because they definitely are willing. It's just hard for me to believe that they're wanting to take you're in the 5-yard line in the red zone and Achan's running off the field for Ollie Gordon to run in there on short yardage. I just feel like there's just I don't know. I just don't see Mike McDaniel is the kind of guy who's wanting to tip his hat that much in those situations, but he's definitely a different back.
He is a different back, and he also loves his running backs. I mean, we saw 2 years ago Mostert and Achane, both of them put up RB1 seasons. Like he can definitely spread the ball around. I don't think Gordon's going to be like a Mostert by any means, but. Like I think Achane, the concern I have too, I don't want it to happen, but Achane does have crazy usage in both the running game and the passing game. We saw him get banged up before. He's undersized. They have Wright, but I think if Achane goes down, Ollie Gordon's going to get some run. I don't think Wright is someone that they're like, oh, he way better. So I do think, especially 4-12. I mean, there's very few options of players that are actually going to have a chance. And like ETN and Brooks and all the other guys. Like at this range, I'm just trying to say in a 1 QB league, what's a player I can start maybe once?
Yeah, and you'll get to know pretty quick with guys like that, right? Like healthy scratch for the entire like 9 weeks into the season. Like okay, you can figure out something else with your taxi if you're able to or whatever, but.
Yeah, I mean, I have some gross run. I mean, whenever I go into my Dynasty Daddy fantasy portfolio, most rostered is always going to be these gross running backs. I think I have like 5 or 6 shares of like Jace McMillan and things like that. And it's like, it's like, nope,
Oh,
I
it's
just
it's
had him on
cut
my
day.
taxi. Yeah, and then my taxi locks, and I'm like, well, like I hope this guy that I picked up off waivers does anything.
Yeah,
So
the Eric
that's kind of where
Grays.
these guys are. Yeah, the Eric Grays and all of that.
Well, this was fun, man. NFL draft is like, dude, rookie draft season upon us. It's like Christmas morning, the Monday. A lot of
It
mine
is.
start tomorrow, so I'm gonna be in a lot of slow cooking rookie drafts. That'll be fun. I'm sure a lot of people in Discord will be talking through picks on the clock. Would you do this deal for what I have here? Um, yeah, and I think the ranges are pretty interesting too, because I think you can kind of sneak around kind of that mid late first, depending on how your league will value the tight ends in leagues
Mhm.
where tight ends don't matter too much. And yeah, I'm just excited. I don't know. I just feel
No, I
like
agree, and I think too, like once you get past like the top 5 or so, it
mhm.
becomes much. It's like this big long. It's like 12 picks or so, not 12, but maybe like 10 picks where all these players are pretty similarly valued. So like if I can move back from like the 1-7 and pick up the 110 plus the 201 or something, those I think those deals to me are great because I get 2 high end shots on, like a Matthew Golden and Caleb Johnson versus just saying all my eggs are in the Henderson basket or something like that.
Yeah,
But a lot of those guys are, um, I feel like there's a lot more depth, but like the players aren't as good as we saw last year. I mean, last
right.
year's draft was
Yeah,
incredible,
I mean
but it
neighbors,
dried up. Yeah,
quarterbacks. Yeah,
but we're gonna have a lot of running back depth, and so this is why if you got all those thirds, like I'm just hammering running backs. You're gonna be able to hit on some of them. You might not, but
hmm,
you know, there's definitely gonna be some out there.
definitely. Yo, up, Andrew? Only in one. Have to wait until August because your friends aren't psychos like me. I do it. My home league is a later one, but we draft in person, so that's kind of like I can give them a little slack on kind
Yeah,
of holding off on
gotta
the
give
rookie
him
draft to
slack.
get that all plans. But yeah, we'll get you in a Dynasty Daddy startup. We'll get you with some other psychos.
Now, and I will say, if you haven't pressed that subscribe button, we're about to hit 70. So
Mm,
definitely make sure you get notified and all that when we go live. We don't usually do a Sunday night one, but we wanted to give y'all a little bit of a tease of some of these mock drafts, and I think it went pretty well. I would like to do some more of these
yeah.
as we ramp up for the actual NFL season.
Yeah, it'll be cool too to do, obviously some more rookie stuff, but yeah, like startup mocks with like where the
Oh
rookies are
yeah,
going compared to other players. Like obviously, I give me slow draft 100 times out of 100 in actual startups, but I think like in terms of like on the clock, call your shot, you know, if you had to snap build, your dynasty startup team, what would it look like? I think startup mocks are fun, so we'll definitely do some of those in the future.
no, absolutely. But yeah, definitely. And every Tuesday we do at 9 p.m. Eastern, so that's our usual time. But this was a little bit of a special one since it was kind of a big weekend for the NFL, I would say.
Definitely. We'll appreciate it. Thank you all for hanging out, tuning in. We'll see you Tuesday night for our
Tuesday night.
typical 9 p.m. Eastern time for our typical live stream. And yeah, we'll be right in the peak midst of rookie draft season. So definitely come with your trade questions, deals you've been working through, your on the clock picks, and yeah, we'll talk through it. We'll see you all Tuesday
Sounds
night.
good. See
Link in
y'all
the
Tuesday.
Discord in the description. Great stream. Appreciate you being in here. Much love, much love.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.